Welcome to Chaos, Courage and Coffee, the podcast for anyone who's felt like on the outside I'm holding it together, but inside I'm struggling.
And we do it with honesty, heart, and just enough coffee to get through the day.
Hello, Vanessa. How are you?
Good morning, Brett. Well, it's morning here. How am I? Do you want to know? See, the thing is, I know what I'm supposed to say. I'm supposed to say, I'm good, thanks, or, box of birds, or some, appropriate answer like that. But that doesn't sit well with me because the truth is today I'm frustrated. So I'm thinking, yeah, this is interesting because we do what we're supposed to do in society. So I don't know, Brett. The thing is, in society, there's a lot of things that we do because it's the right thing to do. What happens is when it's at odds with how we're feeling. So I'm saying, hey, I'm really good. But that then is at odds with how I'm feeling. So now I've created conflict.
Yes, very interesting. And I agree completely. So the socially acceptable response, we call it that, is, yeah, I'm great. How are you? Or I'm well, I'm fine. Or, those normal answers that we throw out there. But you're right. I agree 100% that we don't always feel that way. I do know some people, and I did it myself for a period of time, would say, there's no use complaining because nobody cares or nobody listens or nobody's interested or whatever the case may be, and variations of that. So, yeah, I agree. I think it's tough. There is a certain societal expectation that we present a well, happy front, that we don't. And I understand not everybody wants to hear all of our baggage and problems and, complaints and issues, those sorts of things. Fair enough. And you've got to pick your audience for some of these things. And we don't always do it well. But I think it is difficult to truly express how we feel. You said you're frustrated. It's difficult to express that to most people most of the time because conversations have different levels. And a lot of those interactions, especially when we're first, catching up with somebody, or if we don't have that deeper friendship, then we're at that level one right up here. It's relatively superficial. It's not until we get into the conversation that we can start delving into, well, what's really going on with you? What about this thing? What about that thing? And then, when we have the really close friendships that you can call up and say, hey, look, I really need to chat about this problem I'm having. That's getting, really deep, that really small group of friends that you might have. So I can understand, and I agree totally, how saying something I find that you're not really feeling, it creates a bit of internal friction, conflict between your words and your emotional state. And that can be tough.
Yeah, it's interesting when you're talking about it because when I ask parents, and I like that you talked about the levels. So I ask parents, obviously I want to help them with their kids if they're struggling, but invariably, because when they don't know me, they don't want to share that. So if I say, hey, you struggling with your kid's behavior, they actually say no. For obviously a few reasons, but so one, because they don't really know me, and I suppose it's on that level of, well, I'm not actually going to share with you. So then they've had to say, no, I'm not having any problems at all. And also because if you actually share that you're having problems, there's this kind of like, how does that reflect on me? Right? So if I want to present to the world, hey, I'm this happy, positive person, am I allowed to have bad days and bad moments? You know? Or is that going to throw the fact that I'm actually generally a happy person? Because the truth is, I'm a happy person. That doesn't mean I don't have problems and issues and things that I have to sort.
Absolutely. Everybody goes through bad patches. Everybody. And I don't think there's a single person on the planet that, as happy as we might be, don't have rough moments. And it's okay in those rough moments to reach out for help. And I know as soldiers and veterans, and I think some men in general don't mind. They will dip straight into that level too, and they'll say, "This is shit," or whatever. Um, excuse my language for those that are listening, but that's the way people talk to each other, especially soldiers, veterans and men in workplaces or, construction sites, those sorts of things. They don't mind doing that, but they don't necessarily go deeper. They'll talk about the work issues, but they won't talk about the personal issues. And so, and I think you're right. It is a trust thing. It's the level of friendship, the level of relationship that we have with these things. And yeah, so here's a question for you then. What do we do about this?
Well, I like the fact that when you said about levels, what that said to me, and you also said, I think something like pick your audience. So maybe what we're highlighting today is, okay, we can do the societal norms like, hello, how are you? Hey, I'm good, thanks. But what we need, this is the important bit, and it's about having connections. You need some people at that next level, and then you need your inner circle. So you need those people that you can be so honest and share. I mean, that comes with its own downside because we're not always honest with ourselves. But you want to be able to share, and you want it to be in a safe place. So you are, as you said, picking your audience. So let's say it's okay to say, yeah, I'm okay, to someone you don't know very well, because it's a getting to know stage. And then you've got your next level of friends, and you might share, let's say, some high level frustrations, but you wouldn't share your deeper, like, I'm really struggling with my kids because that makes me feel like, God, what's wrong with me? And I don't know if it's a separate topic, but that's what I would like to come on to, because if we're not sharing those things, we are there thinking that everybody else is okay, especially if you're going back to these level ones. Hey, how are you? And everyone says they're okay. And it's like, now I feel everybody's okay in the world except me, because everybody else says they're okay. And I'm saying I'm okay, but I know I'm not okay.
Okay, so does this mean that we need to be a little bit more honest? So even when, and this is thinking out loud, so forgive me on this one. Even when we're meeting some of those first level, let's say it's the clerk at the store, the shopkeeper, all right? And they say, "Oh, how are you going today?" They're just being polite, and that's what they do. I'm having a little bit of a rough day, but it's getting better. Thank you for asking. And it can be just those little pieces of honesty with ourselves that can make a difference and make us feel not so upset. And I know it's really easy to just say, "I'm fine," or grunt, "Ugh," and be that rude person that they have to deal with today. Remember, they've got their own struggles as well. They're going through their own issues. So how do we do it? Is it about being honest, or is it about picking your audience a little bit more carefully and knowing, "Vanessa, how are you today?" "Oh, I'm not doing so well."
I
Okay, what do
like
you
that
like to
you
talk about?
Yeah, I like that you said the word honest, because that was the word I was going to bring in. A little bit of honesty. That I think here's the distinction. A little bit of honesty, like you said, you share with the person at the shop at the checkout who's just saying their routine. Hey, how are you? And you just said, well, not so great today. It can be a conversation starter, but what you're not doing is downloading on them. So you're not opening up and sharing all and burdening them with your problem. You just being a little bit honest rather than giving the expected response that you're okay. An honesty of, I'm not 100% okay. It's not your problem, and I'm not here to get you to help me with the problem. I'm just sharing because, gosh, imagine if you were the person at the checkout. Everybody says, yeah, I'm okay. I'm having a great day. And they put on this wonderful, happy front, and you're there having a really hard day. And you're like, the rest of the world's great except me.
And that's it. It's that person when you're dealing with people all day long. How are you? Oh, great. I'm great. I'm great. I'm fine. Whatever. And I think, well, am I the only one who's having struggles here? And again, how's your day been? Oh, I've had a terrible day. We've had grumpy customers, and that can completely change that interaction that you might have with that one person. That little bit of honesty, they might make that person that you've just given that piece of honesty to, might make that extra little bit of effort to be extra nice, and it only takes a little bit, and that can completely change things for you. And I had a really nice experience at the shop. So
And so for them and for yourself, because you've been a little bit honest, but you haven't opened up, and maybe you've made a different conversation, and you might have made them, feel a little bit better. I mean, they might be having a good day, and they might just, offer you something back anyway that cheers you up. But yeah, I think so what we're saying is a little bit more of a step to honesty without feeling that maybe it reflects on us badly, because we're supposed to be feeling good all the time. And I think you said it earlier, it's not like that. You're not going to feel tip top the whole time. That isn't life. Life is this kind of waves of up and down. Like, that's what we need to expect. And then we're not going to be disappointed when we have the downs.
yeah, exactly. I think so. I want to roll back a little bit to honesty, because some things are painfully obvious and honest. If somebody's got a brand new cast on their arm, they've broken their arm. Oh, how are you going today? I'm in a little bit of pain today. That makes sense. And we can share that. Quite honestly, there's no hiding the fact, and people will relate to that. We might not have all had a broken arm, but they can understand, they can empathize. And so we can have that honesty and go down that. Or, I've seen people, I've never had a broken arm for everybody out there, but I've seen people, my sister had one, and she's shoving the ruler up the cast to try and scratch the places that she can't reach. And, frustrated, trying to scratch an itch that you just can't reach, that's just driving you insane. I'm sure that's one of those frustrations. But people can see that and they can understand it, and it's okay to communicate that. But sometimes we still don't. And I think that's where that honesty can come in. And people like to feel good. And sometimes giving them an opportunity to do something nice is something that we can do to make them feel better as well.
I'm wondering though, is there an expectation? Do we worry so if we say we're not so great, is the receiving person then in a position where they feel they have to do something to make us feel better? And are we worried that we're putting them in that position? Like, is it okay just say, hey, I'm not so great today, and they say, oh, I'm really sorry to hear that? Then they feel obligated maybe to ask more. So maybe that's one of our barriers. It's not about the honesty. It's about, what then? If I deliver you some honesty, what response is required next?
Yeah, I think you could be right. But I think, so who are we protecting? Are we protecting ourselves, or are we protecting the other person? And I would argue that I think our own internal peace, to some degree, is more important to us. Nobody's going to care about us the way we need to. Nobody. So we need to look after ourselves. And if it's really not working for us, this society expression of happiness, or satisfaction or whatever, then we need to make those changes. If it's not working, then change it and fix it. I mean, that's what we talk about a lot here. If you're frustrated and you can't express it to anybody else, then how are you going to resolve that?
That almost opens up a whole nother thing, because it is about getting it out. We need to let our emotions out. And yet, of course, in society, we don't. We don't have to get it out in a big way. Just saying, actually, I'm having a bad day, I'm really frustrated, that lets a little bit of it out. Otherwise, it stays inside you and it builds up. So maybe it's just about allowing ourselves to express, not with a full emotion, but just to express it. It'd be really interesting. I'd love if everybody listening to this, and you and me, this includes us, Brett, we just now start with a little bit of honesty and just see where it takes us. See if, don't get too deeply involved in it, but just to say the words rather than everything's great in my world, just a little bit of honesty and see where it takes us.
Yeah, I think that's important. And I struggle a bit here again. I'm trying to put my thoughts into words. Sometimes we're not even honest with ourselves. So sometimes some of us might struggle being honest with others because we're not truly honest with ourselves around what we're feeling. We say we're putting on a brave front, even though we're not, and we're not even prepared to tell the people we know how we're really feeling. Or we're trying to suppress what we feel because we don't want to feel it. Oh, there's another can of worms, isn't it? But it's true. And I think we need to start with being honest. If we're feeling this emotion on the day, then why not? If it's a little one, if it's a safe emotion, then why not share with people? I think the honesty needs to start somewhere, and it can certainly start with us.
Oh, okay. So you've brought up a really good point. Let's maybe start with ourselves. So I don't need to express to you that I'm frustrated. Maybe I just needed to acknowledge for myself this feeling. I find quite often frustration's one I keep inside me quite a lot. And it normally then ends up exploding out somehow on, on something, hopefully not someone, but sometimes someone. So yeah, maybe it just starts with acknowledging it for myself. And we do this with children. So it's something that I help parents do, is labeling your emotions. It makes them more familiar and more comfortable. And it helps us to be able to say it. So if we don't know what the emotion is, we can't actually say it in words. So we can't really necessarily get it out. It's the first way of getting it out, or the kind of the easiest. But what happens with kids, it comes out as a physical, um, what's the word? But it comes out physical. Yeah, physical expression. And we teach them to put this into words so that they've got a label with it and they feel more comfortable and they get familiar with it. Oh, this is frustration. So maybe, yeah, be honest and open with yourself, because it's nothing to worry about or be frightened about. It's an emotion. Emotions are okay. They're actually a good guide to what's going on inside us and to tell us that something needs addressing. So go, if you have to say it to yourself, literally walking around the house, right, I'm really frustrated now. And then you might be able to go, oh, right, what's the frustration about? And you could actually start to sort of unpack, why does this situation frustrate you?
So tell me, Vanessa, you started your feeling frustrated today?
Yeah, and so it's really good to what I did was I actually expressed it. I'd asked somebody to do something so that it wouldn't be a last minute problem. And I asked them to do it 3 weeks ago, and they told me they'd done it. And then I found out it hadn't been done. So I phoned them up. This took another hour, one of those blooming phone chat things. And I want to speak to a real person. Took another hour and I did it. And then we come to crunch day and I'm like, well, they've said they've done it. It should be good. But no, of course they hadn't done it. So I'm like, oh, here we go again. Now I got to phone them again a third time. And I tried to preempt all of this to set it up so it wasn't last minute. And I find that frustrating because it's a real drain on my energy. Like I've got it on my list of things to do, and in my head I've done it, and I actually ended up having to do it 3 times, and I'm powerless because I need them to actually do it for me. There's no automatic way to do it myself. So it did help being able to, I said to the poor lady on the phone, I said, it's not your fault, but I'm really frustrated. And, that really helped to be able to express it.
And she then understands what's going on for you and why this is a problem for you. She can understand, like, that little bit of honesty helps her understand that, of course, we're very good sometimes at putting ourselves in other people's shoes and understanding, in your situation, I would feel exactly the same way. It's not about necessarily validating the experience, but if you do come across a little bit short or snappy or whatever, then they can understand why, because you've tried to do all the right things and preempt all this stuff, and it hasn't been done, and other people have let you down, and of course you're going to feel or have emotions around that. So, yeah, I think that goes some way towards smoothing out the interaction a little bit, and they can take that, your emotions, your frustration into account. And some people are really good at modifying their language to help smooth out some of these interactions when people are a little bit upset. So I think being a little bit honest, saying, look, I've had a bad day, I'm a little bit tired, children have been keeping me up, or, whatever's going on for us, sharing just the surface level of that is not necessarily a bad thing, and it can help make the day just a little bit, or the interaction just a little bit better, when we're being honest, not just with ourselves, but with the person we're engaging with.
And I like the phrase you used there, the surface level. So this is what we're saying. We're not saying, open up and share your inner feelings. It's just a surface level one. It's okay. Like, does it reflect poorly on me to feel frustrated? I don't think so. I think that's human. I think I'm allowed to feel frustrated with things. Or maybe, yeah, that's on me. I'm going to allow myself that frustration's okay. It might hint at what I could do differently next time, but and so I can learn from it. But we don't have to go deep. We can just stay surface level, and I think that's what we're talking about. So we're talking about the surface level of, do you say, yeah, I'm okay, or do you just share a little bit of, not 100% perfect, a little bit of something going on. This is the emotion I'm feeling.
Yeah, I think you're right. And, you know, do you say when you call up for the third time, um, I'm fine, how are you? And pretend like nothing's happened? Or do you say, this is the third time I've tried to resolve this, and I'm a little bit frustrated because I've tried to do it twice before, nobody's resolved this for me, so I need to call you a third time to do this. Oh, I'm sorry you're having such an experience with this. Let's see what we can do to get it sorted for you. And people will take a much gentler approach and try to resolve it. So I think honesty is the way to go, not necessarily when we're having those level one conversations with people, with the person in the store, or, just somebody you might see down the street, a casual acquaintance. It's okay to say, I'm having a bit of a rough day.
I remember when social media first came out and there was this big thing, everyone would be posting like all the good moments with their kids, all their holiday photos, and everybody else is now thinking that everybody else's life is really great. How come my life's not like that? And it's like, no, we're just posting the good bits because we want you to think our life is great. And I think perhaps social media, we've got a bit more honest now. Maybe we're more comfortable. We share frustrations and difficulties and actually can learn from it and help other people learn from it.
I think some parts of social media are being a bit more honest, although I think other parts, the influencers and those sorts of people, they're still only promoting the best parts of their lives. I think they're not showing the background stuff and everything else that's going on for them. But
And that's a little bit like fairy tales. So when we're kids, we're told lots of stories. Stories are good, but the stories fairy tales always end, and they all lived happily ever after. And as someone once pointed out to me, real life begins when the fairy tale ends. So the prince, marries the princess, and they all lived happily ever after. No, they didn't. Then they started living. Then they started arguing. Then life got real. And we're not told that story, so we actually think that everything's great once we got married.
Yeah, they move past the honeymoon stage into real life, and they have to start living together.
Yeah. All right. So, what can people take away from today? Should we leave with a few points?
So I think one of the big things is it's okay to not necessarily be okay. It's okay to be a little bit honest and share with people. You don't have to say, I'm okay or I'm good every single time you meet someone. You can say, I'm having a bad day. That's okay. We all have bad days from time to time. So a little bit of honesty, I would say.
And maybe being honest with yourself. So, if you're not prepared to say it to other people yet, at least voice it to yourself. And it's okay to have these emotions. So today I'm frustrated, today I'm angry, today I'm worried, today I'm nervous. That's okay. Label it, voice it, get it out there, because then you might actually be able to take another step with it to moving past it.
Absolutely. And be kind with yourself. It's okay to not be okay. I think that's a saying, a promotional thing they use here in Australia for something. Anyway, it's okay to be having a bad day. Not everybody's life is perfect, and I want you to be a little bit kind to yourselves, as I said before, and enjoy the rest of your day as best you can. And if you're not, be honest with yourself, be honest with others, and try to have a great day anyway.
All right. Thank you for listening. And remember to like the video, subscribe to our channels. We're on YouTube and Spotify.
Well said.